Welcome everyone to episode 506 of the Daily Mother Swole. Papa Swolio, swollen and rolling. I am on the road and you can see over here, little mobile mart, about to fill up my tank with gas.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Got nothing on these games though. Thank you so much for joining me every day live at 12 noon Eastern time. If it's your first time catching the Swole, welcome to your first Daily Swole. Welcome to the podcast where you get flexed on. Or it's a beard cast, or it's a swole cast. I don't know. I don't really even know what to call this fucking shit anymore. But every day at 12 noon Eastern time. And just a reminder, you can catch all the episodes on YouTube and listen to the podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes. Make sure also, fam, that you're following me on Snapchat and Instagram. Remember, all at Swolenormous. So if you're not following me on Instagram, you are missing out the stories. You're missing out on my Instagram stories. Do not do that. Before we begin, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Left and Right Bicep. Thank you for always being large and in charge. K1, Everest, and K2 flexing on you. I'm feeling good. Feeling pretty good today. Yeah, ears were popping from the trip. I gotta get out that funk. So, tired, slept like an hour or two, had to pull over. Yes, the Swole Master is here. This is open Q&A session. Got a little country music playing. It's on the radio. And a lot of the gas stations are still fucked up around here. You can't use your card. You have to go inside. I guess like the electrical systems aren't working or functioning properly. But that's neither here nor there. Today's episode, remember, it's a live Q&A, so we're going to chill here for a couple moments. Not going to spend all day here, so if you have your questions, ask right now. Make sure you jam those questions down my beard's throat. Just fucking throw them out there. And some of these questions might get answered in the podcast as well. Might be doing some little snippets in the audio podcast, so you could always go on iTunes and type in Swolenormous, and you'll see the different podcasts that I have to offer for the additional content, so don't miss out on any of that. I'm building some beginner slopes. That's right, Mike. If you ain't got Everest or K2, you get the bunny slopes going. So the initial knowledge nukes I want to drop are about expectations and reality. I want the entire shift of this conversation, I want your brain space, I want your head game to go into this space of reality versus your expectations, because those two things are virtually split fucked and completely ass backwards. Your reality and your expectations of that reality, it's like a dream world. And I want you, as you approach your fitness and as you reset for this week, because of course tomorrow's Monday, back to business for most of you, that this reality and this expectation of reality, or the expectation of what you think is going to happen, that expectation, what you think is going to happen, because that's what an expectation is, right? That's what an expectation is what you think will happen. And that's oftentimes not the reality, especially when it comes to muscle building and weight loss. And a lot of the questions already popping up are just like fucking just out there. Like, how is this helping your goal? So I'm going to get to a couple of these questions, and, I might blow up a couple things. But here's another part of the expectations and reality. What are you focusing on? What are you focusing on today that's actually going to get you to the reality? Are you trying to lose 10 pounds? Well, what are you doing that's going to help you lose 10 pounds? What's your real goal? Are you going to be a professional athlete? I saw, Dan, you asked a question, blood flow reduction training. I don't care. Like, I'm not going to cut off blood supply to my arms and, tie off like a fucking heroin addict to work out. Could there be some research on it? Maybe, but I'm not going to go numb and like literally siphon off blood from my muscles and imagine that that's going to get me some like magical gains or something night and day from like the classic form of lifting. My thoughts on it, my thoughts are, I don't want to fucking make my arm go numb while I'm lifting. I don't want to put a clamp around my bicep or my quad when I'm doing squats or lifting. I just don't see the real purpose. Maybe if you're a high level athlete, those kind of things matter, but that's the kind of thing that I want everyone to separate from, where your reality really is. Like, how does, for example, and I'm not picking on you, Dan, how does blood flow reduction training, or blood flow restriction, you mean, BFR, how does that affect anyone's goals that are watching? To build some muscle, you don't need it. To lose fat, you don't need it. You know, no one from, you know, the New York Rangers, no like hockey pros are watching this, and no, you know, Olympic athletes are watching this trying to squeeze out a couple of little instances of performance. You know, so make sure you're focused on your reality. And Dan, we can have this conversation. I mean, that conversation can go more. I've never really experimented too much with it. I just don't like the idea of cutting off blood flow to my muscles for gains. I have not seen any need ever to do that myself. I've seen plenty of progress not doing it whatsoever. So I am not personally a fan. I'm actually trying to put a little bit of a shield up because I have a feeling I'm back in Florida, so that sun is probably going to kick this off. Might kick off the live broadcast. But anyway, focus on your reality. Fucking commercials. Fuck the music. Focus on your reality. Focus on what you need to do today to get the actual result that's attainable. Make sure you're focusing on the important stuff. Don't get fancy with your training. Don't get fancy with your diets. This is just straight, basic building Lego blocks of shit. And it's your thought process. What are you thinking about? Because all that noise that's going on in your head every day, all those things in your brain. I'm actually going to move this. I'm going to hold it in my hand because I think it's going to get too hot. All those things are going on in your brain every day. A lot of that is just noise. A lot of it is just noise that's going to distract you, right? This is going to distract you. There's a lot of things that take focus away, and it does it to me. You know, I have the same problem, but there's a lot of things that can take focus away from the most important things. And the most important things are, you know, of course, your daily nutrition, your daily activity, your mental health, you know, your psychological approach. So just don't get too far off track. Let's take some more questions. And, you know, on a deeper level, I don't know the latest research on blood flow restriction. And honestly, I just don't care. There's such a small percentage of me that cares about anything like that at this point, because it's not going to be the difference between you living a longer and healthier life. That's for damn sure. Chris Butler, my opinion of going vegan. If you want to go vegan, then you can go vegan. Is it healthy for you? It could be healthy for you if you do it right. If you do not want to eat animals for like a moral reason, that's up to you. Going vegan isn't necessarily healthier than eating, you know, a lower quantity, grass-fed, really healthy, you know, protein source from animal. I mean, it's natural for humans to eat meat. You don't have to listen to all this bullshit like eating vegan is going to be the be-all, end-all. If you're making proper protein source selections like grass-fed beef, pastured chicken, and eggs, you know, you're being smart about your consumption. There's nothing that's going to be mind-blowingly, you know, bad for you as long as you don't make it your main course. You kind of make it your side dish. Just don't overdo the meat. Vegan does not mean automatic health. There are a lot of vegans that don't lose weight because you're still eating inflammatory foods. So vegan can be very unhealthy, actually, if you're eating foods that are causing you inflammation. So you got to find out what works best for you in terms of what foods you're sensitive to. Yes, I'm still on the road, Paul. I'm sure you figured that out by now. Have I ever torn a tendon? No, I've sprained an ankle. Knock on wood, that's the worst injury I've had. I sprained my ankle really badly in college. It was a grade 2 sprain. It was a grade 2 sprain, so it wasn't a full tear. So it wasn't a tendon, but it put me out for a little while. What I did was I went to the gym with crutches and an air cast, and I did upper body. I should have done corrective exercise. I wasn't aware of how all that worked back then, and I, you know, didn't have physical therapy, couldn't afford it, insurance, and all that bullshit that people deal with. So how did I not lose my mind? Or how would you not lose your mind? Is you focus on the things you can control. You focus on your mental health, focus on meditation, focus on corrective exercise, focus on flexibility and mobility, and perhaps yoga positions that you can do or working around those injuries as long as you're cleared for it. You can work on meditation, you can work on cleaning up your nutrition because you can maintain muscle mass in many cases and minimize body fat storage if you're eating properly. So don't eat your feelings and make the excuse that, oh, I'm injured, I'll get back on the pony once I get better, because then you're going to eat shit for months and then you're going to be fatter and more miserable. So don't make excuses for the injury. Use the injury to your advantage and focus on the correctives and the things that can improve you, once you do get better. I'm not sure where you tore the tendon, My left arm goes numb on its own. What up, Randy? Teresa, just put you put MCT oil in your coffee. How much do you recommend putting your if you're going to use MCT oil, especially when you start, maybe like a teaspoon. That's a TSP, not a TBSP, like a tiny bit. Otherwise, you're going to be in the bathroom all fucking day. So if you're going to go that route with the MCT oil, just use a tiny bit. You could always go more and just find what balance works best for you. So less is more when it comes to anything like that, because too many fats like increasing really quickly and it'll give you the shits big time. Mikey, I've been struggling mentally the last 3 to 4 weeks, getting divorced and moving and let my diet slip. Aha, been eating out a lot. No excuse. Shit diet. Sorry, I was doing so well. And it cuts off. Don't apologize to me, man. I mean, you know what you did right and you know what you did wrong. So, you know, you're a grown-ass man and you're already owning up to it. The most important thing is if you're going to, you know, if you're going to slack off and if something's going to happen, you can't blame your divorce. You're the only one that can be, you're the only one that can be to blame for it. You know, there's nothing in your world that forced you to eat out. There's nothing in this world that has forced you to make bad decisions with your food. That's all you. So if you own it, you understand why. You just got to make sure that doesn't happen again and you get back on it. So no one's to blame for anything, for nutrition, for not getting a workout in. You might try to blame other people, but that's a loser mentality. So bottom line, if you didn't get it done, you know, it's on you. So that sucks, man. Get back on it. My nutritional course instructors against vegans. I just think people Jacqueline, I think people think when they hear vegan, they think healthy. They think being a vegan means being healthy, and being a vegan does not mean being unhealthy. You could build muscle fine being a vegan. You can be healthy being a vegan. You could be healthy eating quality sources of animal protein. I mean, you know, but a lot of times people associate, oh, I'm going to be vegan. I'm doing a raw vegan diet. I'm going to lose all this weight. Well, if you're eating inflammatory foods, like if you're sucking down a lot of beans and rice and shit, you're going to have inflammation. You're going to have issues. You can eat a lot of shit, quinoa and stuff that's technically vegan that could be causing you problems. So you have to be careful with what you're doing. Vegan does not mean healthy. Vegan just means not eating anything from an animal source of any kind. Not that any of you don't know that already, but that's what it means. It doesn't mean that you're eating healthy food. It doesn't mean that you're losing weight. There are many people doing 1,000-calorie vegan diets that don't lose a pound because they're highly inflamed. Their body's storing fat and holding, you know, all the fat and holding into all the calories. Hassam, you're watching this Gainesville. Hell yeah. Actually, I haven't passed through Gainesville. Jacksonville. Life shits on you sometimes. Sorry to hear about everything. Yeah, Mike. Yeah, you know, I mean, you know, not hating on you, Mike. Obviously, you know we love you. But yeah, things happen. Things happen. Currently watching this from Gainesville. Nice. I ate Buffalo Wild Wings last night. It's kicking my ass literally. Never again. Gained 2 pounds of water and on the throne all morning. Honestly, let's talk about reality and expectations. That's the reality. The reality is you start eating healthy and then you go back and you have a cheat meal. I honestly think that might be the key to lifelong health, is really cleaning shit up for like 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks and then and then eating whatever you want and then cheating and then feeling like absolute dog shit for like a fucking week as your body like craps it all out. You feel nauseous, bloated, achy. You feel that contrast and all of a sudden you realize, oh, I've been fucking myself up, feeding myself poison for years. You know, you don't know that contrast because your body your body starts creating antibodies less and less as you eliminate those foods that it was trying to defend itself from. So then when you reintroduce dairy and fried food and shit like that, all of a sudden, your body doesn't have those defenses up and then you fucking blow up. Yeah, Mike, you know it's good. Steven, thanks for answering about my tendon questions. Tore my left medial epicondylitis. For those that don't know, that's on the inside of the elbow. Need to say oh, you mean your legs have never been stronger? Okay, I thought you said I was going to say, no, that's the condyle, not epic. Okay, so you've been doing a lot of legs because your elbow is... I unfortunately have an elbow that seems too permanent and then it cuts off. All right, so I'll have to check with that later, Steven. Yeah, what up, Justin? What's going on? Let's see what other questions. Make sure you drop them. Much love from Kentucky. Love you, Daniel. Thanks for joining. Neil Kitchens, not a question. I like to point out the more I try to stay consistent with good nutrition, the more I realize how far society and food producers don't really care. You know what? That's actually interesting. You know, once you, like, if you all take some of my advice, and like I said, a lot of this stuff is good advice if you take it. You know, you don't have to do anything I say. I'm not saying doing what I am, you know, suggesting doesn't guarantee you a happy life. You know, that comes from other things. But if you're really trying to see the perspective, then you have to go and really be strict with it. If you're really strict with it and you go and you start looking at everything from like a marketing standpoint, like they're trying to sell you a car in the supermarket. There are people, there aren't salesmen in the supermarket. The boxes are the salespeople. The red boxes, the yellow boxes, the things that say, buy me, eat me, oh, these delicious cookies, 2 for $5, 10 for 10, you know, 3 for $9, like all these fucking deals, you know, 50% off, buy one, get one free. You never see that on the really healthy stuff, right? You always see that on like the Nabisco, like on the Wheat Thins or the Tostitos, you know, buy one, get one free. You never see that on pastured eggs. You don't see fucking maybe a discount once in a while, right? On the healthy food, vegetables, celery, buy one, get one free. I mean, maybe if the produce manager overbought, but you don't really see like the regularity. You know, because those things go bad, so it makes sense. All of a sudden, oh, they bought too many avocados, 10 for 10, get rid of them before they go bad. I get it. That's good. Shit's supposed to go bad. You know that they're running those Nabisco and those, like, you know, Chips Ahoy discounts because they fucking feel like it, or they're being paid to run a discount. I mean, those things don't go bad for like a year and a half, so what's the rush, right? Jacqueline stopped eating wheat 6 days ago, lost 5 pounds. Bloating, inflammation. Good for you, girl. Absolutely. You too, Tiger Claw. Expectations, Oliver, lead to resentments and disappointments. It can lead to resentment. You know what? I mean, expectations will lead to resentment if you're putting your happiness and you're putting your results into someone else's hands. If you accept the fact that you're responsible for all your outcomes, like whether you have a successful diet, it's up to you. Whether you train properly, it's up to you. Whether you're successful, it's 100% on you. If you accept that, you might have some disappointment, but it shouldn't really even be disappointment. It's just be a learning process. Resentment is only going to be like, you're going to resent other people, but you shouldn't resent anyone. There's no need to blame anyone else. If you take responsibility, then there's no need to resent anyone because they had nothing to do with it to begin with. But I agree with you. I mean, you could resent someone, but that means you're putting your hope and your, you know, what determines your success into someone else's hands, which is wrong to begin with. Carrie, cheating after starting the Plant Paradox is definitely different than cheating my previous healthy diet. Yeah, and once you learn, that's why we do so much education. That's why we do so much mind shifting in this community, because once you learn how to think, if you learn how to think, if you learn how to process the information that's in the supermarket, if you learn how to process the information that your body is telling you when you eat a food, you can make good decisions. You learn about your body, you make those good decisions. It's very simple. You make those proper choices. That's all it comes down to, proper choices. You're filled with choices every day, but what choices are you making? What's up, Andrew? You're very welcome, bro. What are my thoughts about donating blood? Naomi, I don't do it. I know they'll try to tell you, oh, it'll regenerate your blood count, this and the other. Your body regenerates blood cells. I think red blood cells, every red blood cell in your body, I think, is regenerated every, 3 or 6 months or something like that. I like the idea, the concept of donating blood. I don't do it because usually these blood banks often charge for the blood. You know, there's like a lot of like, you know, commercialization and making money off my blood, so I just don't do it. Plus, something about if you're by a movie theater outside of Walgreens and someone's like approaching you like, hey man, want to donate? It just fucking creeps me out. So, I mean, I would donate blood, but it have to be the right setting. I don't think it's bad for you. I don't think and you definitely don't need to donate blood to like cleanse your blood. Your body does it all the time. You know, is there some research maybe that shows if you do that, it does, you know, it increases a hormone, you know, erythropoietin, that your body, you know, can regenerate things quick. I mean, the body's designed to cleanse itself, so I don't think it's necessary, but that's just from a logic observation point of view. I don't know like the science behind it. For myself, it's like, I'm not going to donate blood outside a fucking movie theater. Get away from me, vampire. Or outside like a supermarket. It's like, oh, well, I just came here for like, you know, for some food, but hey, why don't I just give you some blood while I'm here? What else makes you bloat? Stephanie, it depends. Everyone's allergic to different things. The common things are dairy, you know, wheat, A lot of things like starchy food, like rice can be brown rice. Things like quinoa, grains, all kinds of grains can cause bloating. Could be things like, seeds, out of season fruit could be. Let's see, things like peanut butter, things that are high in lectin content. Those of you that are part of the community, you're aware of what those are. But there are a lot of things that can cause bloating, not to mention everyone out there is different, so you might have your own subtle food allergies. That's right, Oliver. You could have resentments towards yourself, and of course I'm scrolling through this question, so I'm seeing tea or coffee, Brian. For me, coffee, but you could have green or black tea just as well. It's all good for you. We're getting swole out here, hell yeah. Brad Castleberry, fake. I don't care if he's fake. He's obviously strong. I mean, is he lifting fake plates? I don't really care. I still think he's a weird fucking dude that pulls down his shorts so you can see his butt crack all the time. I think he's a hustler. He has a big following, so I don't resent him for that. But, I don't dig his approach or his supplement push and the marketing towards it and his brand, like whatever brand he might think he has, or I don't know. I don't think he promotes like proper fitness. I just think it's like kind of like one of those Instagram things that people like to watch because it's entertaining to watch for like 60 seconds. But there's no value there. He doesn't provide any fucking value. So that's why he has so many haters, because there's no value. Maybe like some entertainment. Like the value is for people to make fun and to blame and to say it's fake and this and the other. Whether it is or not, I really don't care. I'll rage about it on the Driving While Gaining. I'll fucking rage about it. I really don't care though. Hassam, I notice I hurt or strain my rhomboids often. How do you know you're hitting your rhomboids, bro? How do you know you strain your rhomboids and it's not your middle trap? How do you know? Lacrosse ball and roll it all over my chest, shoulders, and traps so they can stop hurting. Well, first off, your rhomboids are between your shoulder blades. So you're rolling it all over your chest and your shoulders and your traps. How does that help your rhomboids stop hurting? Where is this coming from? Bro, I cannot answer your question from what you just said. I want to make sure that you know where your rhomboids are and really what's going on and what you're doing. I have to have more information on that. Daniel, corn and soy. Maybe that was an answer to an earlier question. Maybe corn and soy for inflammatory foods. So, yeah, just in case a couple of questions pop up in a little bit, and the phone's hot, that's why I took it off the dash. I'm back in Florida and it's 87 degrees. So I am back. Papa Swolio has returned and a lot more content coming. So thank you so much for following me on the journey. I know I've been out of town for almost 3 weeks. So now I am back. I'm not back yet. I probably still have, I would say like 2 hours more in the car. I just got to fill up this tank and then it'll be a straight shot back. But, yeah, thanks for being a part of the community. Love you all. Happy Sunday, Zach. Happy Sunday. Andrew, been following me the past few weeks. Read my ebook. I like how you do things live and respond to people. What do you think about Beachbody? I don't follow his content at all. I know he likes to do intermittent fasting, which is fine, but I don't know, a little too skinny for my taste. What do I think about? It depends. You have to give me some context because I don't waste my time, honestly, everyone. If I do these like videos on YouTube, it's for fun. I rage, I have caffeine, I go nuts, but I really don't care what other people do. And I don't follow anyone else, so I don't know what these people are doing. If you ask me questions that are a little more specific, but I don't follow their content. So I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what he does. I know of him. I don't know what he does. I've seen a couple of videos. I'm not impressed. I just don't follow and see what he does or know what he does or really know what he stands for or what he really tries to provide. I don't dig into anyone else. I'm so focused and I'm overwhelmed as it is doing all of my stuff, which I do want to thank you all for. The support up this far, and I'll close out with that in a second. Let's see. Can you tell us what's in bread from Europe versus USA that makes it okay? It's the yeast. The yeast that they use. I believe it breaks down. It either breaks down the gluten, it breaks down the enzymes, or the lectins, or it breaks down the. There's no wheat germ or gluten like added to it. It's like the yeast, the processing of the bread or how they create the bread. They do it natural way, and it breaks down. The enzymes break down the issues that are commonly found. That's why you might go to Europe and have bread, not feel like the bloating or the allergic reaction. Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate it. Will do. Staying on track. It could be the middle. I know I had impingement on my left side and I was out like 3 months. Well, impingement's a delicate word. That's a diagnosis word. I'm not sure how you would impinge your rhomboids. Maybe something got locked up, but anything with the scapula, when it locks up, it can injure your shoulder, because if the scapula is not moving properly, then the shoulder joint might get overstretched or overstrained. Yeah, you're fine, Makisha. What's a good remedy for hip pain? Depends on what's causing the hip pain, Richard. Hip pain could be caused by a muscle imbalance. It could be caused by banging it against a door when you walked into the bathroom. It could be caused, you could be feeling it. It could be something like a nerve. I can't tell you exactly what's causing your hip pain, but more often than not, pain or issue, especially if you're one of those people that have not had a lot of exercise in your life, or if you've been sitting down a lot, or if you're very repetitive in your movement patterns, a muscular imbalance around the hips is common to cause pain in the lower back, in the knees, in the hips itself. So yeah, Jacqueline, the Premium Hip Workshop is a great place to start if you're already a member of Premium, if you're watching. And if you want to become a member of the private community, there's a link in the post description, premium.swolenormous.com, because you mentioned it, Jack. That's right, the hip workshop was last Thursday. But going back towards all of you, I really appreciate, and I think some of you, I talk to you, we do the one-on-one calls. I just want to reiterate and give you my thanks. And I've been doing a lot of thinking, because when you're driving 20 hours, you think a lot, and I'm always thinking a lot. But when I'm driving, it's a lot. Driving the car, I can listen to things, I can jot down some quick notes, I got rest stops and stuff, but it's I don't really do work when I'm driving. I'm doing a lot of thinking, right? I'm doing a lot of reflection. And I just want to, let you all know, like, the gratitude I have for all of you and for your attention and for being a part of this community, because those of you that have any, familiarity with doing video or editing or content, and I'm not tooting my own horn by any means, but it's, those of you that know me personally, it's a shitload of work. It's a shitload of work. It's just time. It's just time on the computer, on the phone. It's just nonstop. So when you're getting messages, you're getting answers to messages personally and emails and stuff, it's all me. It's 100% me. So, whenever you get an email back from Swolenormous, it's from me. Whenever you get a message here on Facebook, it's from me. Whenever you get, any kind of content or reply on Snapchat, on Instagram, it's from me. It's from me on my phone or on my computer. So, I'm trying to get in the comments and everything as much as possible. When you send me DMs on Instagram, on Snap, I try to answer as quickly as I can when I get it. But it is a shitload of work. It's a fucking shitload of work. And I just want to let you all know that I really appreciate your support, just because it's, it is a lot of work, but I love that you're getting value from it, and that it's paying off for you, and that you're seeing the benefit of, these concepts that you're implementing and changing your way of thinking and how you approach your fitness and how you approach your nutrition. Remember, that simple path is always the right one. I shouldn't say always, but simple does not mean easy. And I'm going to have a video coming out. I don't know if I'm going to film it today or tomorrow, but I'm going to be putting a video out, my simple versus easy video. And it's just the concept of simple versus easy. And we've talked about that before. I've addressed that a few times. But it's really that, it's really just coming to grips with the fact that when you have a single target, it's much easier to hit. Doesn't mean that it's going to be easy to do so, but simple, sure. You can simplify things. You can trim the fat. You can focus. You can get rid of all the excess distraction. It doesn't mean that's going to be an easy path, though. It doesn't mean it's going to be an easy path, but simple. You can make it simple, which in effect kind of makes it easier, because there's less things you need to focus on. You can just focus on the challenging task, but maybe not 10 challenging tasks, maybe just one. Maybe just one challenging task. So got a lot of great stuff, got a lot of great ideas and things I've been putting down, through my trip here. So you'll be seeing the fruits of those labors soon as I can get home, get some sleep, and then get back to some more labor. All right. Melissa, I know how much work it is and selfishly dread the day you decide to do this in a different way. I hope, well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, I know that. And that's why I chose you. I've been focusing from the bottom up. Yeah, keep it simple. Keep it simple. So the broadcast is getting a little bit choppy. I think the phone's just getting hot. And, you know, this is like Facebook's way of telling me, yeah, we don't want to do this anymore. So peace, McGeese, deuce, Magoose. Thank you so much for joining me for episode 506 of the Daily Swole. Remember, every day live at 12 noon Eastern time. Catch all the episodes on YouTube and listen to the podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes. If you are not following me on Instagram and Snapchat, do so at Swolenormous. And again, thank you to our sponsors, Right Bicep and Left Bicep. Thank you so much for sponsoring all these episodes of the Daily Swole. Oh, you dropped so much coin into these episodes. Such wonderful sponsors, lefty and righty. Peace, McGeese, deuce, Magoose. Thank you, everyone, for all the premium love. Remember, if you want to get hooked into the private community, make sure you click the link in the post description. Message me if you have any questions. Love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.